Hello and welcome to episode 73 of the Inventive Marketing Club. We're here every week to help you build a better marketing strategy. On this week's episode, we have an open club. It's a marketing review, website review, where we invite two guest members to come on, and we're going to look at their website, talk about their marketing, and hopefully they're going to come away with a few tips and ideas to move them forward. So we've got Ruth and Joe on with us today. Ruth, you came into the waiting room first, so I'm going to jump straight over to you. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Very well. Let's start sharing your website, and you can just start telling me a little bit about your business. In fact, before we do that, I'll just say how we met. In fact, both Ruth and Joe met through a workshop I delivered. Was it the Cirencester Growth Hub? Was that the one?
Yes, it was. Yes.
I think so. Yeah. So you came along to that, and that was just a free workshop that the Growth Hubs run around the area. And I said, hey, because what we tend to do at the end of the workshop is we do what we're doing now. We do a little website review, but we don't have long enough to do many. So I say, come on to our webinar. You can have some more there. Anyway, over to you. Just introduce yourselves, a little bit about the company, who you are, and how you help people and what you do.
Hi, we're Ruth and John. We have the Cotswold Cabin Company. We're based in Cheltenham. We've been established for about a year now, and we build bespoke garden rooms and Arctic cabins for customers, basically.
Cool, and I've got them on screen now. I'm screen sharing, so we can all have a quick look at those. What is an Arctic cabin?
They're the Nordic.
The Scandinavian cabins.
Yeah.
So it's a style, right?
Barbecue cabins.
Yeah, people think they look like kind of hobbit homes.
Can we see one of those? Can you show me on the website where they?
There's one, if you scroll all the way down on here on the page you're on, I think, if you remember rightly, or if you go to the cabins one.
Let's have a look. Let's go to the.
There's actually, if you scroll down slightly and click on, you might want to move that chat box.
Yeah,
I've just left. Yeah, I've left everything up as we found it there.
It's the cabins one. It should be at the bottom of there. So there's what we call the squares, the normal offices.
Yeah.
And then at the bottom.
That's okay. I see.
There. So there's a barbecue in the middle of them, a big chimney going up.
Oh, we can see it in this picture here. Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
That's, you can have it.
It's got a little rotisserie.
They're great things. We've got one on display.
We do actually. We're on we've got a small show site in Cheltenham as well, and we do actually have one of those here. So yeah, they're very popular. People like them.
But would you say the majority of what you're producing are these more office-based cabins?
Yeah, without a doubt.
100% so.
I bet you've seen a huge rise in people buying cabins and working from home.
And I think with the present, how things go at the moment, there's going to be more and more of that, being that I think people with all the mortgage rates, etc., aren't going to be shifting and moving houses now. I think they'll be looking at what they can do with their current properties, even more than they have been doing over the last year to 3 years.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Okay, so we set the scene. How can I help?
And what we're finding is we were looking at our how people find us and how they're taken to our website, and we're getting people to our website, but maybe our website isn't easy to navigate, or we're not getting many leads through our website. So we can see we have traffic, but we're not turning them into anything. And I don't know if we've got too many individual pages on there, or they need to be individual pages, or it needs to be clearer how they contact us. Or in fact, if we need to be putting more information on there, or whether it's offers or anything that we do to actually turn the traffic into leads.
Yeah, I think because when we started, obviously budget is a big worry. So
we set this up on Squarespace, didn't we? Without any knowledge of how it would work. Really.
Yeah, we had a little bit of help, but all in, it was pretty much something we did ourselves.
Yeah.
Without being educated on actually how to do it.
Yeah, we painfully wrote the content and put the images on there, and actually probably that's another thing we've changed what we do. So if you look at the cabins, for example, it shows you specific cabins and names of everything. We're so fully bespoke. We thought that would be a good guideline, but in fact no one's had the same cabin. And so I don't know if our message is clear or how the website is really seen by the customers. And of course, we have quite a high level of competition. There are quite a few lots of people out there doing this. So we just need to.
I think as a whole, the website needs to look a little bit more dynamic, maybe.
What do you mean by dynamic?
Well, it's a bit flat. There's nothing moving.
Okay.
There's no video content. That
newer
kind
images,
of thing. I think there should be maybe pages behind the scenes that work for us that we don't see and works to get the understanding and talk to Google properly, etc. I think there's a lot of background things there as well.
Yeah. Whether it needs to be more sales, whether it just looks flat, whether it needs to be more sales driven as well. I don't know if it seems that doesn't seem like we're trying to actually sell anything through our site rather than just someone going in and having a look, and that's it.
Okay, there's lots of things there, so let's touch on a few of those. Competition would be good, just to maybe spend five minutes just having a quick look at another competitor's website just to see what we can glean from it. That's always really interesting, because that's what your audience are seeing. You know, if they come to your site, it's likely they've seen another site, so that would be good.
Absolutely.
Looking at some of the content, I mean, say also, you know, you produced the site in Squarespace. It's good. I think you've done really well to put it together. Content is one of the hardest things to write, I think, and write well, and actually pare it back. I mean, you've got to have enough text and images and video, whatever, on the site, but it's about laying it out in a way that doesn't feel like you've just chucked it onto the page. And I think certainly just looking at this homepage here, it's you know, you haven't just sort of splurged a load of text and then put some images on there. You know, you are actually purposely thinking about it. So you've done a good job to start with, but you know, even the websites we produce, there's always more you can do, and it's just a case of starting somewhere and then nudging it forward. So you've done a great start to begin with.
Thank you.
So let's just have a look at where we are. If someone's to land on this site, so no matter how they get there, maybe they've heard about you from somewhere else, or they have Googled you, they've landed on your site. Do they get a good idea about what you can do? So let's have a look at the page here. The logo is pretty clear at the top, Cotswold Cabin Company. That gives people an idea, but I have a feeling that most people will be drawn to the image. That's the thing they're going to be looking at first. And the image is, well, the image is good, but I think you're almost cropping a lot of it off. So they're not being able to see the cabin so much. And then the bit of text that's over the top that really says what you do in the area is not so easy to read, because it's this white text on it's not a reasonably light background. You can read the text, but you have to wait, you have to think a moment. Oh, there's text there, I want to read that. And you shouldn't have to, if you want people to get something quickly, you need it to be obvious. So almost what I would possibly do, just looking at this just off the top of my head, is to make that image much bigger and then move the text up to maybe the left-hand side, because you've got a nice space over the garden where you could put a little panel, and you could move both the title and the get in touch for a quote onto there, plus your free site consultation. And that enables you to have a much bigger image and all the text on there without making this look too different.
Yeah, tried to do a couple of things like that. It kept, because you also got your boxes you can put in there on Squarespace. If you put the cabin image bigger, then the text below would sit on the screen, so it would cut it off, so you could only see. So trying to fit it all on the first, when it comes up, trying to fit it all on. If you
so you mean if we would look at it like this, like a sort of typical, I'll just accept that. Is that what you mean? So looking at it on a sort of typical size screen.
The picture, then it went, so we say click for the free site consultation, it would be, you could only see half of it. It would drop in.
Quite right.
Just drove me absolutely insane. So
it can be frustrating, because what you need is, you need to have that image bigger, but then have all of that copy in like 50% on the left-hand side of it.
Maybe
that's the way of doing it.
Actually, the rest would come up.
I think that's just adding a block, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, I can't remember in Squarespace. It's difficult to remember, but they do have blocks for that allow you to do it.
No, I think the image. You're right. The image. What we would ideally like is to have some moving images or more images, especially recent work that we're working on. I think.
Well, That could be really good. So what you could do is swap out the image for a video, that just quite a short video, maybe 15 seconds, that just goes through quite gently some different styles with a little bit of movement in there, nothing too fast, maybe a little bit just to catch the eye, but that's just moving in the background and just going through the styles. It's not like a slider where it's just image, image, image. It's just one video just sort of moving through. It might be quite nice to get an idea of what's going on there.
I know I can do that, but I just haven't got a video good enough to put on there.
Well, so the little trick I use if you don't have a video is to take some of your best high quality images and make a video out of them. So if I don't know what computer you use, is it a PC or a Mac?
We're on a Mac, but I have got an iPhone 14 Pro, which I've been.
Oh, you're gonna have great photos on that then.
Yes, so the photos have improved.
Good. So if you've got a Mac, it comes with iMovie for free. So if you load that up, you can just drag and drop the images onto the timeline, and you can apply. I think it's called the Ken Burns effect, and it basically allows you to take an image, and it will. You can say, I want the image to start here and end here, and it will basically sort of move from one point to the other. And it gives it a little bit of movement.
Oh, you've given me an afternoon's worth of work already.
But they look pretty good. And I've done it where we combine it with a little bit of video. Sometimes if the client has some video, it's not perfect. I would advocate if you can get video, just definitely do that. And with your new iPhone, it's very good at being steady. Yes. So what you could do with your cabins is rather than just taking a video or a photo like this, just take a video and just slightly pan across it a little bit, just a little bit of movement, not fast, just a little bit of movement, and just try some things like that. So when you come around to making the video again, you can do it. But that, that's
with our competitors, lots of them they pay people to organize their website, their photography, their social media, and so they didn't even do it. They're big companies out there, and we obviously are doing everything ourselves. And we just need to make sure we look professional, and that has to come across.
And I think you will. I mean, the photos look pretty good here in terms of the clarity, but having that movement will bring up a level. So all of these things, I mean, just doing that isn't going to just instantly get you more clicks through, but it might get you a few more because it makes it a little bit more clear. Everything is in one place here. Then you can, so let's say the image comes down to where the white line is, and then that everything else moves up onto the left-hand side. So you've actually got a bit more vertical space there. And what I would possibly look to do is bring some of this up. Trustpilot, Google reviews, that's great. You might want to say how many you've got on there, link through to them. I think that links through to Google. Trustpilot might be good to get to link through to Trustpilot, or say how many ratings you've got on there.
It does.
It says it goes down to the footer in the bottom.
Oh, does it? Oh,
yeah. It's not doing anything at the moment. But then that's good. So on the screen, they can see that you're highly rated. They can see the product. And then what I'd do underneath that is you've got these images here, which are pretty cool. I think that would allow these to move up a little bit, so they're a little bit closer. But I like this. The only thing I might look to do is, let's have a look here.
It's about keeping people on your site for long enough as well, isn't it? Rather than just click and then leave.
It's about giving them the information they want. People are coming to your website not to browse it, not because they've got spare time generally. It's because they want something. They have a need and they need a cabin, and so they feel that you can help with that.
Do you think more information is better then? As in, we need to be telling them more on that first long page than we are, or? Well,
I think when people are on here, when they arrive on your homepage, they're going to want to see cabins pretty quickly. So you can have a nice video at the top there, but when you scroll down, I think it would be good to have a selection of different styles of cabins that they can click through and go on to. Even if you just have some different styles, I know you do bespoke ones, but people aren't going to think like that. What people will do is say, I want that one, and then they'll come and talk to you, and then you'll bespoke it for them. You'll make it bigger because they'll want this one, but I want this changed, I want that changed, I want all these things. But they want to start somewhere. So I think if you're able to take, let's say, cabins here, some of these example garden rooms, if you could take some of these photos and put those on the homepage, just slightly smaller actually, so that people can just quickly say, oh yeah, that's what I'm looking for, click, and then they can go to the right section. Or just to say, we offer a wide range of cabins, you show them, browse the full selection, have a button that takes them to that. You've just got to think about it. If you're looking for a cabin, you want to see cabins and you want to start picking. Once they know that you're a company that can do what they want, then they want to start knowing more about how you work, maybe. Let me make sure I'm back on the homepage.
This is interesting to see how easy you find it to navigate the page.
See this?
That makes a difference. It needs to be easy to navigate.
Definitely, absolutely.
Maybe this isn't.
Well, these blocks I would have thought would go to different styles of cabins, but they don't. They go to different pages. So you've got features here of a cabin, popular uses. You've got actual lists of cabins. You've got your brochure, blog, FAQs. But the way I'm looking at this is actually, I think that if I click on that, I'm going to see that cabin, or I'm going to see this one.
Okay.
So this is great stuff, great content, but I would perhaps visualize it in a slightly different way. Have your little thumbnails of cabins at the top, just to give an example of what you can do. And I think get people into those pages pretty quickly. Popular uses, you can always mention that in a little bit of text, then link through to it.
But actually, rather than hide them within the boxes, have them as visible text.
Just a little paragraph, maybe. It depends how long it is. Let's go and have a look at popular uses.
Well, no, that's not. Oh no, you can't. Yeah.
So actually, you could.
As you go into
that could go on the homepage.
Scroll up or down. Yeah. As you go into each box, as you scroll up or down, you will get the information for all of those boxes within each box, which I'm starting to think is also maybe confusing.
So that's a general information page. I'm wondering if actually a lot of this should just go on the homepage.
Yeah. I think.
I don't know. I think this is fine, but I wonder if you could condense some of this information in and put it on the homepage.
Yeah.
Make them smaller, maybe just pick a few.
Yeah.
And then if people want to know more, now you've got a page with more information. I'm not sure about information. I'm not sure what I'd call that. It's like it's the detail of it, isn't it? It's when people are, because I don't know if we talked about this in the workshop, where you've got different phases where people go through. You've got awareness, consideration, decision. This information page is really useful for between the consideration and decision. They're kind of, they want to work with you. They're just sort of fine tuning and going through their checklist. So I'm not sure what you could change that to.
Okay.
But definitely have more of that on the homepage. Let's quickly go back to home, and then I want to look at one of your competitors briefly. So this is interesting. Garden rooms, what's going on here? I'm not sure what this is. Discover. That goes to garden rooms. Okay. And then you've got newsletter. So this is a nice image.
It's interesting.
See, it gets a bit, I'm not sure what's going on down here. It's not as, up here, very definite, very, each section is purposeful. These blend together. And I think you've got some nice images and nice things. I just don't know quite how that works, what these are for.
Yeah, I think maybe that kind of technical drawing piece there could maybe be taken out and replaced, as you say, with the popular uses or the from the information page instead.
Yeah, I mean, these are good to see on the gardens room page, the cabins page, definitely to see like the technical drawing of it. But I think on this page, we just want to see the cabin. Okay, so let's say people were to click, they're interested, they want to contact you. What happens if we click on this? So it shoots us down to the bottom of the page, and you've got lots of things to do. Do I call? And I've got 2 numbers to call. I definitely only have one. I only have one number. And if you've got 2 mobiles, get one to forward to the other. Because otherwise, like, which number do I ring? I don't know. I've definitely seen this with trades. They'll have their home number and a mobile number. And you think, well, if I ring the home number, I'm gonna have to leave a message because they're going to be out working, or maybe their wife's working with them, or their partner's working
Give
with
them a
them.
choice.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Do you think people trust the mobile number?
Yeah, absolutely. We have two numbers. We've got an 0800 number that's on the website, but I give everyone my mobile number that I'm working with. Everyone else, it's going to be the 0800, and that's only so I can keep them at arm's length until I know them. But if you're happy with letting everyone know your mobile number, that's fine. If you didn't want to show your mobile number, you could just get a local number divert. So you can buy a local number and just get that permanently diverted to your mobile.
Do that. I mean, we've got, we just use because we can be out and about and everything else. The mobile is just the easiest thing.
No, absolutely. So, but just have one of them. What I would probably do is, from a conversion measuring conversion point of view, I would have a dedicated page with a contact form for a site visit. So keep this at the bottom, that's fine. But make another page, which is like /free site visit. Or book site visit, and then on that you just have a form, and the whole sole focus of it is to book a free site visit. This is what's going to happen. We'll you fill out the form, we'll then organize the time to come around, and we'll talk about the cabin. I guess you'll measure up and you're going to give them a quote off the back of it. So talk about that process. The nice thing about having a dedicated page is you can track it, so you can see how many people come to the home page and then how many people go to that page. You can also, if you want, then have a thank you page once people have filled out the form. So they fill out the form and go to a thank you page. That allows you to track even further. Still on that booking page, have the telephone number. So you can either say, call us to book or fill out this form. And that's the choice. And keep it super simple. And it might be nice. I always quite like to have a picture of the people who they'll be speaking to on there. So you could have a picture of you guys out in the garden next to a cabin.
Yeah.
Because a small company, I think you want to embrace that. So they want to. I've worked with a lot of companies, and while you're small, you may as well benefit from that being small. That they're going to work with you, and a lot of people will prefer that.
A lot of our clients have enjoyed that kind of more interaction with the people that actually run the company.
Yes, exactly. As you get bigger, that changes, but you capitalize on the fact that you're small right now. So just one other thing before we go and have a look at competitor very briefly is it says cabins here, but when I click on it, it says garden rooms.
I saw that. Isn't it funny how we're so too close to our own site? We've looked at it so many times, watching somebody else go through it straight away.
The reason
easily just. I can see it's possibly not that easy to navigate, and there's not enough content or information on there. But I saw the garden rooms, cabins, and I was thinking, oh God, he's going
to bring that up.
Because I was advised to have more, because it used to say cabins, and because of Google searches, etc., on the top bar there, home garden rooms information there. I was told it's better to have garden rooms there instead of cabins, because people search garden rooms instead of cabins.
Yeah,
garden rooms.
I can't remember. I'm sure we talked about this in the workshop, but whether it's cabins or garden rooms will depend on the amount of people searching and whether it's the right term. So I'll go with garden rooms. Let's say it is. Without doing any research, we wouldn't know, and we don't have the time for that. But let's say it's garden rooms. I would then put garden rooms on.
I've tried, and I can't change. That's
really.
My problem. I keep trying to change the cabins on that page, on that tile, to garden rooms, and for the life of me, I can't do it.
And it won't do it. Okay, I'm sure that there's a way. Badger Squarespace. Yeah, that's what their support's for. What's weird though, I've just come back and that tile's disappeared. It's not there anymore on the homepage.
Oh yeah.
Let me refresh. Go back up. There it is. So that's weird. Okay. Yeah, so you don't want inconsistencies. If you're using the language, try and use it throughout. Using the term cabins on the page is good. Cotswold Cabin Company, that's fine. But if people call them garden rooms, you want garden rooms here. When you click on it, it then says garden rooms. That makes sense. Right, so let's have a look at the competition. So Google, and we'll look for garden rooms. And I'm just gonna, let's look in. I don't want Cotswolds, it's too big. Should we just say, where were you? You Cheltenham, still
you'll get a
Cheltenham.
fair amount to put Cheltenham in.
Let's do that. To see what we get. So that's the search. So it is looking for products, people actually wanting to buy products. So we've got Google shopping ads on the right hand side. Got a couple of other ads up here, which look about right. Yeah. So I'm going to ignore the ads and we'll just take the first organic result, which is Future Rooms.
Yes, they've just changed their website and I really like it.
Good. Let's have a look. We'll just spend a couple of minutes on this.
Yeah, they've just changed it over the last month.
I'm going to take those off. I'm not going to give you all my data. Right. Okay. So let's look at it in a small view like that. Refresh to make sure we fit. So
is that their homepage?
It looks, no, that's not the homepage. That is the page that comes up. It would be in competition with you, I guess, if people are searching for that. Okay. Which is pretty bad, isn't it? It doesn't.
I think so.
This is pretty clear. I mean, boy, that stands out. Sorry, there's a lot of contrast, but there's no image of a cabin there. I mean, there was a little bit of one, but it's kind of cut off now. Oh, there we go. Oh, that's weird. Don't like that. Because this is what you've got to judge it against, not their whole website. This is the page Google has put at the top of search results, so it believes it's the best page for that particular keyword. This is what I mean. So you've got these little images of what cabins are. That's what I want to see when I'm looking for cabins. So you can either cut them out of your photos or just have a very, picture of your cabin with a simple background. So that's good. This top bit's awful. But
yeah, no, it is. I agree.
There's a lot of text there, too much, and I don't like this. I'm not quite sure what's going on there. That's not what I expect. Because I'm like trying to click on the arrow. I think it's going to rotate through images.
Yeah.
And it's not. So this is good though. So we're reusing the same word, garden rooms and offices, or you can say, we create a wide variety of garden rooms and offices. I can't quite see what that image is. It's very dark. But they're obviously trying to include local stuff from their portfolio in here. Bespoke day room. Yeah, okay, so they've got different examples. Yeah, these are quite nicely laid out to actually to show what these look like. It's very easy to see. Oh, that's getting a bit samey now. Yeah, it's not a greatest page. Let's have a quick look at that homepage. Okay, see how that text stands out? It's like pops right out of the page because they've actually darkened. They've got a slightly darkened image and they've darkened an area of it using their logo as a sort of a shape. And then you've got these. So actually see nice. They look like 3D renders.
Yeah.
But you can see how
it's interactive almost, isn't it?
It is, but what's funny is they're covering them up. I don't get it. I have to hover over them to reveal it. I think
I don't like this. But I can see where the writing stands out. I mean, there's a lot of our competitors out there that I look at that have amazing websites.
This is quite nice.
This is good, yeah.
So they've got a nice little overview. So they've got they set the scene at the top. This, I think if they were just showing the pods would be better, but it probably doesn't stand out as much over this, but I can see why they're doing it. This is nice to have a little bit about you, definitely. I think, that's something we missed on the homepage. Have something about you guys on there. So you've already taken this nice photo to go on the call to action contact page, get them to go on here as well. Not as long as this is quite long, just a couple of paragraphs. This sort of benefits of working with you is great. This is nice. Actually, this is very similar to how I think you should have it.
Yes. Yeah. That's good.
Order form down the bottom, that's fine. Gets a bit muddy at this point, and then that's it. Oh, okay, so they've got some client testimonials. This is nice, nicely laid out, nice and big. Did you have any on yours? I don't think I saw any.
We did.
You've got these.
We did have a couple.
Yeah, we've got different. It's not.
But it's not visible, actually, is it?
It's very mixed up within it.
So maybe put a testimonial on. Case studies is quite good. Yeah. Okay. So what I would do, just to leave you on the competitor side and sort of finish off, is just try and go through and do some of the competitive research we would have done in the first search optimization. Just look at the competitors and just say, what do you like about them? Sort of take an amalgamation of the top 3 and pick out the best features, and then you want to make your page like that, but in your own style. Yeah. Because you're doing the right thing on the site here. It's just trying to make it super clear when people land on the page what you do and what they can do next. And if they're then like they like what they see, they can scroll until they are ready to take action. Keep mentioning this site visit. Okay, that's it. We're running over.
Thank you.
Is that good?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Excellent. No worries. So next, let's move over to Jo, who's going to tell us a little bit about her business.
So I'm Jo. I'm a full-time artist and printmaker. I've been full-time for nearly a year now, but was working part-time before. The function of my kind of website really is 2 functions. It's obviously to represent my work. So galleries and exhibitions that I apply for, they come on there and have a look to see if they want to accept me. And then also I want to sell my work to people as well. So yeah. I've got the kind of gallery and exhibition thing, it's fine. I do get quite a good success rate with that, but not so much with people buying. My shop is a link to my Etsy, so that just comes in as a page. I haven't yet gone on to have a kind of selling on the website. I was kind of put off that by quite a few other artists who said people weren't, like, they trust Etsy, so they'll go through and they know that they're going to get, you know, then there's nothing dodgy. Whereas if they're buying from me, they don't know how they're paying and who they're paying. So yeah, that was the kind of, so and also it's, you know, I'm on a very small budget, so this was free, and I already had a very kind of successful Etsy page with reviews and sales, so it kind of made sense. I think the problem I've got, I only think, is sort of the homepage and the gallery. It's how much of my images do I put on the homepage, because I've got a gallery. So, and you don't want a repeat of the 2. I think that's sort of.
So basically, you would like more sales to come through from this website.
Yes. Yeah.
And
I don't see many, because I can see where they've come from, and I don't see many clicks through to Etsy. So whether that is just too many clicks, I don't know. Also, I'm not sure how visible it is on the kind of on when people search, how people find me. I created the website. It's a Wix website, and I do know there's kind of issues with kind of finding Wix websites, but it suits me to have the independence of a website where I can, because I'm constantly adding images to it and changing things, so it's good for me to be able to have that kind of, you know, access to it, rather than kind of having someone else in control, really. No,
absolutely. I mean, everyone should be able to go in and make pretty big changes to their website. Okay, so yeah, I mean, the thing is, Wix is fine, and it's, you know, I think this looks really good actually for a Wix site. Sometimes the problem with Wix is it's hard to control the layout. So actually, this looks really nice and
terrible.
It is. It's really tough, and you're kind of working against it all the time. Yeah. And actually, before you came on, Claire and I were saying how lovely the colours are. Really, just like the style of it and the layout. So it's very nice. Love these images. Right. First, let's have a look at the shop first. So you were saying that a lot of people don't. You can see on Etsy where the referrers are coming from.
Yeah.
So on the shop, when I click on shop, we don't actually go to Etsy. We stay on your website, but we've got Etsy embedded onto the site.
Yes, it just came in. So, but if you click on any of those, you'll get taken away to Etsy.
Right. Okay. So this is so basically people are maybe coming through to the shop page. Can you see on your website how many people are actually coming through onto your shop page here?
Not so many. I mean, I get a lot of people looking at the blog. They come in that way, but no, not many at all. Really, go to the shop.
Yeah, so they can see a lot of them there.
Yeah. So maybe I'm not getting people who are looking to buy. Maybe they're just looking. I don't know.
Let's see. It may be that people do click on this and they go, "That's nice, but I'm not ready to buy that now."
Yeah.
And then they come back in via Etsy another time. Because I don't know, I don't use Etsy, but perhaps they can. What people like to do is wish list things or mark.
Yeah,
stuff that
they can click on the heart and that
Yeah.
kind of saves it. Yeah, yeah.
And then they'll come back again, and then Etsy's lost the referral information. So
yeah,
you think it's an Etsy
yeah.
sale.
Yeah.
I don't know how you'd get around that unless Etsy were able to, unless Etsy does actually truly keep that referral information from your website for something like 90 days, and you know that it's actually going to be from the website. So it's a tricky one. It might be that the website is actually giving you traffic into it.
Yeah. I just don't see it.
Yeah, you just don't see the sales. But sorry, maybe I should just check that. When you're looking at Etsy, is it that you just don't see sales from the website, or you're just not seeing people clicking from the website?
It normally, if it's come from the website, it will say a lot of the people who buy on Etsy seem to be searching within Etsy, so that I'm kind of up on kind of higher pages on the Etsy site, and it's my search words that have got me there.
Yeah.
So if I could get a secondary group of people coming in from my website buying, that would obviously be much more more sales.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the website is doing the job in terms of just pointing people to your Etsy site.
Yeah.
It's difficult to know, really. I mean, if you were to set up the store on your own website, that's great, but you're doubling the work you've got, because then you've got to put them on your store and on Etsy. And so I
and more money again, because to host it, Wix will go, oh, that's kind of,
they'll charge you some more.
Yeah, and at the moment that's quite, budget is tight.
So I think you've probably got the right compromise here, I'd say. Starting off, keep it on Etsy. It's now just a case of trying to really get a good understanding of exactly, is it to do with the number of sales that you're not getting through from your website, or is it just not driving the traffic into Etsy?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if people are even finding me. I drive people to the website. That's so when I started writing the blog, I started kind of posting that on certain, because these are collagraph prints. So there's other collagraph artists. So that was driving people. I put a link to that, and I had a lot of interest in how I create my work. And I think I did get a few sales from that as well. So
yeah, that's good. This is lovely.
I've only just started there. I've only done 2 because they're quite time consuming.
Yeah, I bet they are. Yeah, because you're not just having to think about your work, but you're having to think about documenting it.
Yeah. I have to start from the beginning. This is going to be a blog.
Okay, so with the blog posts, you're putting them out on social media, so people are finding them that way.
Yes. Yeah.
We were talking a little bit about search engine optimization. What might people be searching for if they're looking for work like yours?
A printmaker, collagraph they might be interested in. They're the 2 main.
How do you spell collagraph? Is it collagraph or collagraph?
COLLAGRAPH.
Collagraph. Okay, that's quite technical. I've never heard of that, but I guess once you know
it's quite specific. So.
And what sort of prints you're using? What oils?
Oil-based inks. But it's a non-toxic process. So apart from the oil-based inks, I don't use any chemicals.
Okay.
So it's quite a clean process as well.
So let's have a look at that and then sort of work our way backwards. So if I go to Google, which one should we pick? We've got printmaker, colograph, oil paints, or
And
oil
also mine
prints.
is very specific to landscape. So
Okay.
you know, when I search, I don't seem to come up.
Oil painting, would you call it?
No, printmaking.
Oil printmaking.
That might, yeah, that's gone to printed paintings really. So I think you'd have to say printmaking rather than.
So just that's all word. Okay, so we've got lots of images. Obviously, we've got videos coming up. Lots of videos before we get to this. Techniques.
Yeah.
Not much. It's not coming up with much product, but just how to do it.
Yeah. Well, I suppose that's the other thing as well, is you've got two types of people. One want to know how you did it, and then you've got your other people who are interested in buying it. So, and that's quite. I don't know where the fine line goes between kind of what should I give them, you know, on my. I mean, ultimately, I obviously want to sell my work, but I'm happy to tell. I'm happy to, you know, you have to give some of the process. That's fine. I'm happy to do that as well.
For me, it's just there's a couple of things here. It's trying to find the right word that people use when they're searching to buy your work like yours, not your work necessarily, but work like yours. Landscape printmaking, it seems to come up with how to do that.
Yeah.
If we put oil print, it comes up with oil painting.
Yes.
Maybe holograph is the word.
Yeah. Yeah, probably.
Once people actually do know.
Yeah.
So let's have a look here. So let's just try that. Landscape colograph. Would that be good?
Yeah. I'd be very happy if mine came up.
Ideas, landscape colograph. So here we go. So here's someone who might actually paint them. Yeah, okay, great. So that means that word does mean the technique and the product. So that's quite good. It kind of means both. So that could be a good word. So let's just take that as an example and go back to your website. Go back to your homepage. Do you have colograph on here? Or colographs? So you've got printmaker up there.
I haven't got.
Oh, you do here, but it's in the text. I think it needs to be in a it needs to be in the title. It needs to be, sorry, up here in the meta title.
Oh, right.
And also you probably want it in here if you could, in the actual main H1. Let me just check and see if that's H1. It doesn't look like it is. So something key I would do is make sure that word is in this title, but that the title is a proper title, because it looks like the title is actually just a paragraph which has been styled to look slightly bigger and nicer.
Yeah. How do you tell it that it's a title? Is that a different?
Well, that's a good question. I don't remember in Wix, but I think there will be a drop down. If you select the text, you'll be able to set a drop down to say what heading level it is. You've got H1, 2, 3, 4, sometimes up to 6. And then, but what will happen is when you do that, and this may be why you've chosen to do this differently, is it will often set the size of that text as well. So you may have been, it was a header to begin with and you didn't like the size of it, so you brought it down a little bit. What I'd try and do is keep it as a heading 1, but then alter the size of that if possible. That helps. But just, you know, have it on there, and in the title is really important. So you can have printmaker or colograph printmaker, trying to find a very short sentence that fits within 50 characters that has both printmaker and colograph in it. That's, you know, an example of what you need to go through. And maybe I think the first stage is going through that process, is to try and find the right words that people are using, and it might be several different words. It looks like colograph is one of them. So then coming back to, so that's good, that kind of sets your main hub page. And then if we go to your blogs, this is where you're talking about how people do it. And I think that's great. I think that's really good. Let me get rid of that. As to how much you give away, I would say give away as much as you can if you've got time for it, because they're going to be people who are going to buy your work and people who aren't. The people who aren't going to buy your work, we're never going to buy your work, and they just wanted advice. So why not let them have it?
Yeah.
Then there's a chance they might actually buy your work because they see you a lot. And for the people who aren't, the more you are creating work for other people, they're more likely to share it on social media, more likely to share it on, in various different forms, and you're more likely to get found, more likely to get seen. You've got more visibility, and therefore more people who aren't going to do it themselves are going to buy your work.
Yeah,
so
I think visibility is the thing, the absolute key, I suppose, is what I suppose is everything, because I'm kind of quite, well, not new, but there are people who are kind of much further on in this than me, and I'm trying to get into their kind of space to be seen. Yeah.
And so they've been around longer, they've more established. And sometimes it just take time, but you can encourage that or speed that process up by showing up more in that space. So when people are doing searches online, or they're in various groups on social media, or they're doing searches on Pinterest or whatever, they're seeing your work more, or they're seeing you more. And therefore they're more, it's basically building your brand effectively. I
suppose that's why I called it the Ambling Press as well. So it's got it's got that kind of name.
The other thing to look at is these titles. So if I click on this, Summer Haze, that's funny. I had this before. I clicked on it and it's taken a while. It is going there, but it doesn't look like it's
very
going
slow.
There. It's something is slow.
Might be is it all the images maybe?
No, I think it's just Wix. I think Wix does have an issue with that. I've seen it before. So this, if we wanted this to get found online, I'm just trying to think what in there is a keyword that someone might search for. So I understand this, the journey of print, that's kind of your category almost for all of these. Collection, it puts them into a collection. But then we've got Summer Haze. I don't know what else you could add to that, but it might be more. I'm trying to think of what other words. Maybe it's a slightly longer title to get some more keywords in, like how to make a, what would you call it? How to make a print.
So creating a colograph.
Creating a colograph. Brilliant. So it could be, what I would probably do is put the journey of, you could have the journey of print at the beginning, but maybe at the end as well. So it's like how to create a colograph, the journey of print.
Okay.
If you want to group them up like that. Summer Haze.
That's the title of the print, so I suppose that's why I put that one in there.
So that isn't so important to people searching, but it is important for you to have up there. What's the other one? Is it very similar? It's just how you went through it?
So I've just used the title of the print.
So obviously you can't keep using that same idea, because they'll be competing against each other. You're going to have these titles that are all to do with colograph, and you don't really want that. So you want them to be a bit more individual. So I can't keep calling them the journey of the print then. The journey, well, that's fine, but I think it's less. I think what we want to do is capture different searches that people make. Was there anything specifically different about these?
No. Well, it's just a sort of a different, gone off in a different, different print really. But just still showing why I created it.
And it's so if you want to create more of these and try and keep a common theme, this is a good it works. But if we want to optimize it to get these found online, you need to change that title and maybe change some of the content in there. So I wonder if you could continue with this, and then you make another post which is like how to make a colograph. And that focuses on a bit more of the technical detail, and then you reference these, and these reference the how you make a colograph post, and then all of those posts reference your homepage or shop page. So you're starting to create a bit of a web, different pages. You've got one post which is targeting a specific keyword, so we'll just see what comes up. how to make a colograph or how to make a colograph print. You could put landscape in there. And so that's a dedicated post for SEO purposes.
Yeah.
And then you've got your other posts, which are more what you want to do and putting out the process for that particular image.
Yeah.
But in doing that, I think you might capture more traffic for this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might work. But it's then making sure they all link together. That's key from an SEO perspective, is to generate the content and then make sure it links to your hub page, which is the home.
Right.
So that would help with SEO. And I don't know if you've got any links in there already. Let's just have a quick look at the journey of print here. This one, the Cathedral of Trees. Nice name.
Don't know if I put it at the bottom, it might be that you can click on a link. Yeah.
Buy me.
Buy me.
That goes straight to Etsy. Great.
Yeah.
So I would probably bring that up at the top as well.
Yeah.
For people, and it's a bit small. Can you make that button bigger?
Yeah.
Or at least the text bolder? It doesn't stand out that much. It took me a while to find it.
Yeah.
Yeah, check out my exhibitions page. That should be linked.
Yeah, there was when I first did this one, there was actually a specific exhibition, but because it was like it's gone, I kind of took that bit off.
Oh yeah, but it can go to the exhibitions page, can't it?
Oh right, so make it link.
Yeah, because the web is all about links, and so is your page. And really, Google's going to be looking at your site, looking for what you're linking to. And the more times you link to something, the more referrals you're giving that page.
Yeah.
So the other thing with SEO is get other people to link to you somehow. So if you're exhibiting somewhere, seeing if they can link to you when they're doing their news articles, can they link to you? And what you do is you're going to put a blog post on your site telling them about saying, I'm at this exhibition, and then linking to them and encourage them to do the same thing.
Yeah. Okay.
And then encourage, depends on your customers really, but encourage your customers then to share that with other people. And if your customers have a creative in a way, which they might well be, it's often creative people like to buy from other creative people. Do they have their own website? Can you sort of partner up or collaborate in a way and get sort of like other like-minded creatives to sort of recommend you, have a link on their page, say these are my friends, my friends in the area, and they link to you and vice versa, or write blog articles about you. Or you could interview each other, and have little blog posts on each other's website where you talk to each other about what you do. Which is both beneficial for search optimization, but also for your general business, because the more that other creatives who have similar customers to you are talking about you, then your audience and your reach widens. Because you suddenly get not just the people you're talking to on your social media and in your customers, but you get all of their potential customers as well. As long as there's no crossover, that should be fine. As long as it's not another person doing printmaking.
Yeah, it got to be different.
That should be fine. And then what have we got here? So Galleries was working quite well. Etsy's trusted. Do you use Pinterest at all?
I do. It's not functioning very well. So I actually took it off there the other day because I did have a click link to it, and I do share all my work to Pinterest. And actually, I do get quite a lot of people coming through that way.
Brilliant.
But
so why did you say it wasn't working?
I think I set up a secondary business Pinterest page, because I used to have my own kind of personal one, and then that did something that made it very glitchy, and I really have no idea what happened, but it just doesn't function very well. I don't know. It just seems very empty, and
that's a bit of a shame. Well, I mean, so Pinterest itself is working very well. That's good, because I would say that it would work brilliantly for this, because just like with Etsy, people are going to look for images they like, favorite them, click through, and I've often found it does give a lot of direct traffic coming through.
I can from Etsy I can share it onto Pinterest, so it gives a direct link, so they're looking at my Etsy so if they click on it at all, it'll take them straight to the shop. So
Takes them
that's
straight to the shop.
and
So they're
that's-
bypassing the website.
They are. They are definitely.
Which is great. You know, they're getting to the right place, but they're not maybe getting to see you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess on Etsy, you're going to have a profile. So if I click on Ambling Press, you're going to have a profile. Do you get to link out to your website on here?
No. No.
I don't
Unless
know it
I
very
can-
well, but there may be an option to put a link.
I might be able to, there, I might be able to put that in there. Yeah.
I definitely look for opportunities to get links onto your website.
Yeah.
Also just look at local, you know, we're talking about exhibitions, look at local directories, look at local councils sometimes will list local companies on there.
Yeah.
Just look at any opportunity where you can get sort of mentioned and talked about.
Yeah.
And maybe some PR as well. Just reaching out to newspapers if you're doing an exhibition somewhere and sending them a bit of copy talking about the exhibition, mainly not just you, but talking about the exhibition and that you know what's going to be there, because it's something where you just want lots of people interested in this area. Doesn't matter if they buy everything from you or not, but the more people you can get interested, the more people are going to buy from you. And then so we've covered off Etsy. Obviously you seem to be sending a lot of traffic to Etsy, and that's great, that's working. It's kind of a balance then, isn't it? Do you want to send them to Etsy or your website?
I know, because obviously once they get to
Etsy,
Etsy goes, oh, but look, you can buy this from someone else.
Yeah,
so there is a risk.
That's a bit of a problem.
I'm always on the edge of should I put my work on there, you know, and get them to buy directly from me? Should I take that jump? Really, it's that I'm very conscious of not kind of signing up to everything, spending lots of money, because you know I've got
especially now,
no
absolutely.
profit. But yeah, it's choosing if it's the right thing, and I suppose I won't know until I try it. But
yeah, sometimes you just have to try these things and say, well, I'm going to try it for maybe 6 months would be a minimum time that you could try it for. And you maybe don't put all your products on there, just put a few core ones just to try it out and see what happens. But you've kind of got to go all in a little bit, because otherwise it won't, you know, you'll put a few on there, you won't link to it, you won't be linking to them because you'll still want to link to Etsy, and no one will go there, and then that will fail. So you kind of need to sort of go all in a little bit.
Could I run the two parallel? Could I have
absolutely. There's no reason why you can't. Many people have multiple stores. You know, they have a main website and then they'll have an eBay store, an Amazon store. They basically treat them as marketplaces. So they'll put their products on there, but ideally they want people to buy from them directly. Just to sort of wrap up, I mean, we covered those areas, covered a little bit of SEO, so definitely have a look at what words people would use. Let's have a look at the homepage. So lovely image, love the sort of layout, really nice, wouldn't really change any of the top part of it. Let's have a look like this. What we could possibly do, because this is a typical screen size for a laptop, here's an iPad one, gives you a little bit more information. Is try and get a little bit of an overview about what you do on this page, and not just what you do, but your products, your blogs, all on this page. So we talked about getting your keyword in here. This is great. Let's have a picture of you on there. Let's see who you are. I know it shouldn't really matter because people are buying your art, but people like to buy from people, and it just helps that connection. You're a real person. What I would add in here, I think probably above subscribe for updates, is a link through to the shop. Just actually have a link through to the shop on here. Links through to your blogs, galleries, about, a bit like I was saying with Ruth's website. Try and have some quick links through to where you want people to go to. So it's going to be shop, gallery, exhibitions, blog. I think they're the key areas. Put those on there. Don't know whether you do them visually or just as text. Simple.
See, mine's very. There's nothing, because I noticed when it was Ruth's website, there's a lot going down, and I was thinking, oh, mine just goes, there you go.
And you can have lots there, but just space it out. Have lots of space in between, so it's you're not rushing it. That this site is not a site where people are going to be rushing through. They're going to be taking a bit more time over it. So you want to maybe, let's say you did write the article about how you make a colograph. That would be great to feature on here and just say how I make a colograph. And then people can find out. What else would you put there? You've got your gallery. Well, maybe you could take, I understand what you were saying before about not having too many items repeated.
Yeah.
Don't know why it's taking a while to get to the gallery. Have we got to the gallery? No, still waiting. There we go. Yeah, you might want to speak to them, Wix, about that and find out why that is.
Because everything's very slow.
So this is lovely, the way it's laid out, very nice. Don't think you really need to change that. I guess let's click on these.
Oh, so actually, this is an older one, but if you click on the ones further up, they've got that one should do it. So
Link
a lot
to the
more
store,
information,
brilliant.
a link through a price if they want to contact me. Yeah, so
Yeah. Is it possible to make this link look a bit prettier?
that's no, that's all they gave me.
Okay,
Yeah,
fair enough. Well, that's better than nothing.
yeah, I don't think so. I think that's it.
Okay, so this is good. Or contact me directly. Brilliant. I mean, I think you should have that on the homepage if it's not already this. To purchase my prints, click on the shop page or contact me directly.
Yeah.
And don't just put shop page above. Just click on my shop page and have that linked.
Yeah,
Contact me directly. Contact me directly.
yeah,
That should be linked to contact. So you're trying to have the
yeah.
text linked.
Oh yeah, I've never linked. Yeah, I didn't. I'll have to look at
You
it.
should, again, I haven't used Wix Phrase. You should just be able to select over the text.
Yeah.
And there should be some kind of chain icon.
Yeah.
Click on that. That should enable you to
Brilliant.
make
And link
links.
everything out.
I'm trying to think what else you should put on the homepage. So really on the homepage, you just want people to get an idea of your work, be able to buy it, learn more about you, and learn about maybe sometimes company history, about how you do what you do, why you do what you do is really important. Just give people like a flavor for everything.
Yeah, because I've got, if you go onto the about page, that's got a photograph of me and tells, you know, things, you know, everything that I've done.
Yeah. Yeah, so just taking a little bit more of that maybe onto the homepage, because you've got to think that, Bob, I think people will be spending a bit more time on your site, but people are going to still be browsing it pretty quickly. So they're not going to be clicking through all the pages to have a look. Some people do, but most people just look, they'll scroll up and down, particularly on a phone. You know, if we go to, I'll have to refresh this, I think. On a phone, they'll be just flicking up and down, trying to find what they want really quickly.
Yeah.
So you've got to have a look at it like that and say, if I'm a customer and I've landed on your homepage, am I getting everything quickly? Because often people miss this menu. They're not always going to click on that menu to see everything. Yeah. Okay, I think that's all we've got time for.
Okay, great. Oh,
Hopefully that was helpful. I know we've kind of darted around a few different areas. Yeah.
No, again, it's good to see how somebody uses your website, because you're just too close to it sometimes to see.
You know what? I have the same problem. I'm often, Claire and I will often have our sort of marketing discussion after this call, and often it's like, well, we just need external input to see what we can't see because we're so close to it. Yeah. Thank you both. We'll make sure links to your websites are in the blog post associating this with this, and we'll get it out on LinkedIn so people can see your fine work and buy from you. But for now, we've got to finish because we're running over. So I think, Claire, would you just let us know what's coming up next week?
Yes, so next week, Ben, you're going to share some tips and ideas on how to feel more in control of your marketing.
Brilliant. Yeah, that's good. I've still got to write that one, but that's going to be a useful one, actually. But we're here every Friday at 10 a.m. We cover everything in marketing, strategy, social, SEO, video, and productivity, which is what we're covering next week. If you've got something exciting to share and you want to come on, let Claire know. Email support@ratherinventive.com and we will figure out a time for you to come on. Don't forget, you can catch up with all of our previous webinars from pretty much the last 4 years. There's lots of them. Just go to ratherinventive.com/membership or sign up if you're not a member. Thank you, everyone, for watching, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.